Hi guys, it's Rob from Royal Balls. Previous videos we've looked at how I got started in breeding in the hobby, from my early beginnings to some more complex pairings. Today I'd like to talk about a phrase that you've probably heard in many other ball python breeding videos, and that's projects. I am sporting my ARP t-shirt here, Exotics by ARP, so big shout out to ARP Constrictors and Owen. Many of my videos have featured some of his snakes. He is one of the top breeders here in Malaysia, and sometimes I think I spend more time down at his facility than I spend with my own snakes. What is a project? Well, in its simplest form, a project is just a breeding plan. It's not an elitist term, it's not something that's restricted to top breeders. A breeding plan simply requires a male and a female ball python, and you breed them to get babies. That is a project. However, as genetics get more and more complicated, people are working with the super form of codominant genes, they're working with recessive genes, they're working with double recessive genes. Inevitably, a breeding plan is a target. It's a specific combination of genes that the breeder is aiming to produce. When you're dealing with recessives, that means working with hets, which means there are several generations involved, and they will be a specific genetic combination that's needed, and that's why you'll see breeders bemoaning the odds, or their luck has run out on this particular clutch because they didn't get exactly what they wanted. So we're going to look at a project of mine, which is a fairly simple project. It's a Batman, which is the spot-nosed leopard clown. And I'll just outline the project plan to show you how it works and the various tiers that are needed to arrive at that final destination. Okay, so here's how a project works. The objective is a Batman, which is a leopard spot-nosed clown. Batman is a fairly common objective these days. It's been done before. You could easily just go out and buy one, but where's the fun in that? I would much rather make one, and just because somebody else has made one before doesn't lessen the sense of achievement when you reach that goal. Here's the objective. It consists of 2 codominant genes and recessive gene, which is the clown. So ideally you would need to breed clown to clown in order to get clown. Breeding a leopard clown to a spot-nosed clown, everything would be clown. A 50% chance of the offspring being leopard, a 50% chance of the offspring being spot-nosed, so everything is clown, and there is a 25% chance of producing a Batman. However, I do not have a spot-nosed clown in my collection, I do not have a leopard clown in my collection, and nor could I go out and buy one. What I did have is a spot-nosed male and a spare clown female. So in order to get my spot-nose, I was going to have to breed the hets first. So this would be no longer a clown, but it would be a spot-nosed het clown. And I produced a batch of spot-nosed het clowns, but I didn't have leopard. At the time I acquired the spot-nosed male, I spoke to Owen at ARP Constrictors, and he also did not have a leopard clown, but he was interested in making the Batman. In my collection I had a leopard male, but I didn't have a spare clown female. I had a clown male, but I did not have a leopard female, so I could not produce my own hets. If I had to go that route and produce my own leopard hets as well, it would have taken me a season longer. So I asked Owen if he'd be prepared to do a swap. He makes leopard het clowns, and I would swap him for a spot-nosed het clowns. He agreed to do that. So ARP Constrictors bred a leopard to a clown and produced leopard het clowns. Okay, so we have an outline of a plan to arrive at the Batman. It's 2 generations. What are the odds of producing the Batman in this case? Well, if it's a het clown to a het clown, only 25% of the babies are going to be clowns. 50% spot nose, 50% leopard is the same. So now, instead of it being 25%, it's 25% of 25%. So this is 1 in 4. Using hets, it's now 1 in 16, which is 6.5%. So if we were able to produce spot-nosed clowns and leopard clowns, we could have a 25% or 1 in 4 chance of producing the Batman. By going the het route, we only have a 6.5% chance or 1 in 16. Okay, but since we're swapping the hets, he has a set of hets and I have a set of hets, we'll actually have that to 1 in 8. So the chances of us achieving that goal jointly as opposed to individually is a lot higher. I actually produced 4 spot-nosed het for clowns, 3 of which were female. So Owen will get 1, I will keep 2. So we have 3 shots at this. So that defines a project, and it can be as complex or as simple as you want. This is just one example, but it is several steps, several generations. You're looking for a specific outcome with your pairings. So let's take a look at the animals that were involved in this project. This is the male that I was able to pick up from another breeder that was getting out of the hobby, and this is actually originally an import from the United States. And this is a male Pastel spot nose Yellow-Belly, and it's the spot nose that we're interested in for making the Batman, but he is a fantastic combination of genes. And of course, when we make the Batman, the original Batman has been done, it would be nice to have some variations on that, so some additional genes in there just to see what we can do with variations of the Batman would be fantastic. So this is the male that I used. He bred to my clown female at the end of last year, and this is the female that I used, and of course she's just in shed. She's just coming out of bloom, will shed within the next couple of days, so she has brightened up a little bit. This is a Pastel vanilla clown female. So she was bred to the spot nose, and we got a clutch of 8 eggs, and because the spot nose is a co-dominant gene, 50% of her babies were actually carrying the spot nose gene. So I did get 8 babies, 4 of which carried the spot nose gene, and it's the spot nose gene that we needed for continuing the project. So I'm going to show you those 4 babies now that she produced. So we're moving up a leg of the triangle in the project schematic that I showed you earlier. So this is the base level. This is what we started with. This is a female clown and a male spot nose. There is Pastel vanilla in this mix, and there is Pastel Yellow-Belly in the spot nose male as well. So the combinations that we got from that pairing were actually pretty awesome. So let's have a look at the 4 spot nose babies out of the clutch of 8 eggs. So this is the first of the spot nose het for clown babies. This is a female, and this is everything combined. So it is Super Pastel, a copy of Pastel from the female and a copy from the male. It is Vanilla from the female. It is Spot Nose, and it is Yellow-Belly from the male. So this is a Super Pastel, Spot Nose, Vanilla, Yellow-Belly, 100% het for clown. This is an awesome animal. It's female, so this will be the one that drives forward in that project. It has the most genes in it. So the spot nose is what we need to combine with leopard in the clown to make the Batman. But we have the addition of Pastel, Yellow-Belly and Vanilla which I think can only improve the Batman. So this is the female that I will be keeping in my collection to take forward the project. This is a Super Pastel Spot Nose Vanilla Yellow-Belly female. I also produced this guy. This is a female Super Pastel Spot Nose, and she is simply awesome from a pattern standpoint. Just look at the pattern on this thing. Just a really beautiful snake there. Look at the back of the neck and the pattern on the back of the neck. That is just superb. Look at the head stamp. Just look at that. Beautiful. So again, this animal is Spot Nose, Heifer clown. This is female. So we will carry this one forward into the project as well, and I suspect that this is the female that Owen's going to pick from his side of the deal. We did agree to swap one of the Spot Nose hets in return for the leopard het. So this is a Super Pastel Spot Nose 100% Heifer clown female, and I think this one will probably end up at ARP Constrictors. I produced 2 more Spot Nose combos. These two are identical, I think. The one on the right here is the female, and the one on the left is the male. He's slightly larger. You can just get the head poking out now, so you can see the similarity of the head stamps on these guys. But these are Pastel Spot Nose Yellow-Belly. So these two are identical to the father, except they are het for clown. So I have one female and one male. So these will also be carrying forward the project. Let me just get rid of the female. I think it's really cool to be able to do this. So here we go, father and son, and you can see the characteristic bow tie pattern along the back, and exactly the same bow tie pattern in the father. The head stamps, the father has dulled out just a little bit, but the head stamps are also identical. So I think these two animals are exactly the same. The baby is het for clown. So the father is Pastel Spot Nose Yellow-Belly, and the son is Pastel Spot Nose Yellow-Belly het for clown. So on a project basis moving forward, the one that will be of most value to my projects is of course the baby, not the father. Of course he's got a year's worth of growing to do yet before he is ready for breeding. So this Spot Nose male will be breeding for me again this year, and then we'll have to assess what new projects we could put him into. So there we go, guys. That's the father and son, identical. Aren't they just awesome? Now in the same clutch we also got this female, absolutely beautiful animal in its own right. This is a Yellow-Belly 100% het for clown female, and whilst this is not of use within my Batman project, it is a het for clown, and I do not yet have Yellow-Belly in my clown collection in a visual clown form. So this female will also be staying, and she will be going into a different sub project. If you want to group your projects, clown would be the master project, and then a number of subsets within that. So I would have the Batman would be a subset of my clown project, and then something with Yellow-Belly in it with this girl to take forward would be another subset of the clown project. So you can have subsets of a big project depending upon how many snakes you have in your collection. A project only requires 2 snakes. It's nothing more than a breeding plan, so you only need a male and a female, and that is a project plan But as inevitably as you add to your collection, you come up with different ideas. You produce snakes that you didn't expect to produce, that you simply have to keep. And this is one of those girls. So she is a Yellow-Belly, het for clown. She'll be staying. Another awesome female from that clutch is this Super Pastel Vanilla 100% het for clown female. Let me just see if I can show you her head stamp there. The vanilla really whitens up the head stamp, and this is a beautiful, extremely blushed out female het for clown Super Pastel Vanilla. I haven't decided her future yet. Obviously there's no spot nose in this, so it's not going forward in the Batman project. This guy here is the single pastel version of the same snake. This is just a pastel vanilla. The head is still extremely blushed, not as much as the sister. This is a male het for clown, so pastel vanilla het for clown. And the clutch of 8 eggs, we were very lucky. We were female heavy, 5 females and 3 males. One of the males is a normal het for clown. We have this pastel vanilla het for clown, and then we have the mirror image of Dad with the heterozygous form of clown, the single copy of the clown gene in him. So he ultimately would probably replace his father. Certainly in the Batman project he would be replacing his father. So those are the snakes that we got from that pairing on the Royal Balls side of the project equation. My job was to produce the spot nose hets, and I think I did a really good job. Now the other side of the equation, the ARP side of the equation, was to produce the leopard het for clowns, and again we didn't have a leopard clown in our collection, so Owen agreed to do the leopard het for clown side of things, and he paired a clown with a leopard spider, I believe it was, and the female only laid 4 eggs, and of course because I'd got a surplus of females we were rather hoping that we'd get males, and two of the eggs were males, and only 2 of them of course had the leopard gene in them. So Owen kept the spider leopard het for clown and swapped me with this beautiful, he's just going into shed as well, but he's actually packing on weight and really eating well. This is the snake that I will swap for one of my spot nose hets. This is a leopard 100% het for clown. This is the ARP side of the equation. This is the snake that I swapped with Owen. So this is now in my collection. So in 2 years time, when the female spot nose het for clowns are ready, we'll see what we can do with this guy in the meantime, because he's going to be ready before the females will be. So I may actually use him earlier than the females, but this is the male that will complete the Batman project for me. And when that's done, obviously the Batmans we produce from the combination of snakes we've got will have various other genes in them too. We'll see where we progress with the Batman project after that. So this is just the beginning. Awesome little guy, and lucky to have him with only 4 eggs, and only 2 of the eggs being male with the leopard combos in them. Just really lucky to have this guy. Awesome. You can these days, in most cases, unless you're one of the top breeders that's involved in producing world's firsts, you can simply go out and buy a snake if that's what you want, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can add to your collection by buying snakes. Personally, I prefer the satisfaction of actually producing my own snakes, and also here in Malaysia the genes that we need to produce some of these combinations are a little bit hard to get hold of, so you're often forced into making your own project anyway. I sometimes think that projects is a phrase that breeders use in order to stop their wives from knowing exactly how many snakes they've got. Oh, this is my clown project, 100 snakes. So there is a little bit of disguise involved in that, but I think you'll see from the structure of projects that once you start to look at your snakes in terms of projects, it actually changes the way that your breeding plans are put together. It changes the way that you view new additions to your collection, adding genes to the collection. It has to be a perfect fit for your project plans. So projects can be as easy or as complicated as you like. It's a different way of looking at your collection and ordering your snakes on a project basis. Just remember that your males can work cross-project because they can service several different females. They can work several different projects at once. However, your females are dedicated to that project only. They're going to lay one clutch of eggs and they're going to see one of the males that you need for your specific project per season, and that's it. So your females are restricted to a particular project at least for that season, whereas the males you can use across projects. So again, we've talked about it before, the power of having a powerhouse male. And just while we're on that subject of powerhouse males, the Batman project that I showed you, I already have the leopard Heifer clown male as well as the females. The females are going to take 2 to 3 years to grow up. However, the leopard Heifer clown male will be ready to breed the middle of next year. So one of the things that I could do to accelerate the project, I think as we looked at the odds there, you saw that breeding het to het means that only 25% of the babies are going to be visual clowns. If I use that male next year and put him to a clown female, the idea there would actually be to produce a visual leopard clown male that I could then grow up in the subsequent year. So in 2 to 3 years time, when my spot-nose Heifer clown females are ready to breed, I'll actually have a visual leopard clown male to put to them, which halves the odds in achieving the project goal. So that's something to bear in mind, and it's something that you probably don't think about unless you actually look at your snakes in terms of projects. It's very obvious when you see the project pyramid that I produced that I could actually shortcut the male side of the equation and produce a visual leopard clown male for 2 to 3 years time when the females are ready. So that's something else to bear in mind. So projects, guys, not an elitist term. It's something that helps you structure, I guess, in your own mind how you view your snakes and how you order your breeding plans. But a project is nothing more than a breeding plan, the only difference being that it has a specific genetic combination at the end of the project, and therefore the intermediate steps are also equally important and require specific genetic combinations from your offspring in order for you to achieve that goal. So that's the only difference between just breeding 2 snakes together because they look pretty and a project which has a specific desired outcome at the end of it. And again, guys, as I said, there is nothing wrong with either approach. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you feel comfortable doing, whatever you enjoy doing, that's the purpose of the hobby. So don't think of projects as being elitist, they're not. It's just something that helps you order your collection, particularly as your collection grows and you do start to think about more specific breeding objectives. So there we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.